Hello everyone, I'm Dwayne Bonifer in the Lindsey Wilson College Office of Public Relations, and this is The View from the Hill, the podcast of Lindsey Wilson College. Every week during the academic year, The View from the Hill features conversations with some of the people who help create the dynamic living learning environment that serves the educational needs of every Lindsey Wilson student every day. In this third edition of the 2025 View from the Hill podcast, we'll hear from two of the individuals who do a great job leading one of Lindsey Wilson's more consequential student organizations, the Bonner Scholars. The two Bonner Scholar staffers we'll visit with during this edition of the podcast are Director of Civic Engagement, Student Leadership, and the Bonner Scholar Program, Kisha Burton, along with Bonner Assistant Director Yayi Sonnabend. Since its inception 20 years ago, Lindsey Wilson's Bonner Scholars Program has had a big impact, not only on the campus, but throughout the region as well. And as we will hear a little later in the podcast, students who are Bonner Scholars at Lindsey Wilson also receive a significant boost to their careers. Supported by the Bonner Foundation of Princeton, New Jersey, the Bonner Network is made up of 65 U.S. colleges and universities that annually support more than 3,000 students. Students who are named Bonner Scholars embrace the commitments of social justice, civic engagement, spiritual exploration, diversity, international perspective, and community building. This year, Lindsey Wilson has a very diverse group of 30 students who are Bonner Scholars. The program is open to all Lindsey Wilson students from all majors. In addition to its diversity, Kisha points out that another strength of the Bonner Scholars program at Lindsey Wilson is that students serve together in cohorts.
The Bonner Scholars program at Lindsey Wilson College is a 4-year cohort-based program that's internship in style and allows the students to essentially serve and give back to the community while they're here at Lindsey. So in their time as a Bonner Scholar, students will serve with about a dozen different community partners. This gives them the opportunity to engage with a lot of different clientele. Our biggest partnership is with the Dare County school systems. We have students that run and facilitate their after-school program. They're in the classrooms with students on the day-to-day, and they're also in the Family Resource Center, helping bridge the gap of barriers that prevent elementary and high school age students to access their public education that they can receive. So we have students that are kind of everywhere in that. Another big partnership that we have is with Joy Ministries, and there our students are able to learn the basics of case management services, what it means to intake clientele, to inventory a stock room of food, and how you oversee an entire crisis resource center that benefits our community up to 1,000 people per year. So our students are getting a wide range of experiences. Even more that I could speak on would be like the Center for Courageous Kids, the Dare County Public Library, even at times the animal shelter. So our students have a wide opportunity to explore their interests and their passions while also gaining skills that are going to further them on in their time at Lindsey.
Talk about student experiences being a big part of the Bonner Scholars experience. A lot of opportunities for students who are involved as a Bonner Scholar as well.
The best part of my job is getting to witness what students are able to add to their tool belt of skills and to add to their resume of experiences. So our students, through their times serving with our community partners, they're building up a resume of what they are able to do whenever it comes time for them to graduate. And so we see students that through a developmental model that the Bonner Foundation has developed, they step into leadership experiences in their service sites. They become volunteer coordinators or volunteer trainers. There's days where we have service partners that tell us that I've had to step away for whatever various reason, but I knew that I could leave such and such Bonner in charge of the work while I was gone for a few hours. So it's really great to be able to see our students build up their leadership skills in their time and to do so in a way that's scaffolded and really allows them to step into that direct service in their first year, but by by the time that they are a junior or a senior, they're able to build the capacity of the organization that they're serving with.
Yayi, talk a little bit about these postgraduate outcomes that Bonner Scholars have. They've done some impressive things after they've left Lindsey Wilson College.
Yeah, absolutely. So in addition to what Kisha was talking about just the resume building opportunities, there have been a lot of studies that have come out to attest to the effectiveness of cohort-based programs. So a student participating in a program like Bonner that has a set cohort over these 4 years increases student satisfaction overall in their education experience, but also contributes positively to both the retention and the rate of graduation for these students. And then if we take it a step further into being civically engaged in a cohort-based program, you have even more outcomes to attest to the GPA that the student graduates with, their likeliness to go to graduate school, and then they're also very likely to be civically engaged post that program as well. So there's lots of studies that attest to that, and I find that that is essentially true in Bonner because we hit both of those things.
You're listening to the Lindsey Wilson View from the Hill podcast. I'm Dwayne Bonifer in the Lindsey Wilson Office of Public Relations. I'm talking to Lindsey Wilson Bonner Scholars Program staff members Kisha Burton and Yayi Sonnabend. Kisha is Lindsey Wilson's Director of Civic Engagement, Student Leadership, and the Bonner Scholar Program, and Yayi serves as the Bonner Assistant Director. Last fall, the 30 Lindsey Wilson students who are Bonner Scholars combined to volunteer more than 3,800 hours at organizations throughout the region. But as Kisha points out, the Bonner Scholars' impact goes far beyond the numbers.
Granted, I could pull up the numbers and show you the thousands of hours that students have contributed, not only this year, but over the lifetime of the program. But ultimately, what I think matters more than that are the individual stories of impact that's happened. Whenever I think of what our students have been able to accomplish in the community, I think about the Camp Casey program at Adair County Primary Center, which has been our longest standing community partner. And that all came from Miss Dana Harmon, who used to be the 21st Century coordinator for that program. With schools and grant cycles, there was a year where it wasn't going to be able to be upheld. And at the time, Director Amy Thompson Wells stepped in and said, "Don't worry, Dana, we'll take care of it." And that is a partnership that we still maintain until this day, where Bonner has been able to sustain after-school experiences for elementary age students. But then I also think about the reverberal impact of that, of how important that after-school care is for the families of full-time working parents that are trying to take care of their kids. Like something that seems so small as a student to show up Monday through Thursday and lead Lego Lab, while our students are getting that skill set, they're getting that experience for classroom management, they're impacting people beyond the room that they're already in.
And then you've seen it have a huge impact on the students who participate as well. I imagine they change a great deal from their freshman through senior years here at Lindsey Wilson.
Yes, students change a lot in 4 years. Even if I were to think back to my own experience, like I changed a lot in 4 years, but it is a beautiful thing to get to witness that and to witness that year after year with different students and get to follow them all 4 years throughout that. One of the sweetest things about Bonner is the career discernment that comes along with that. So we get students that come in their freshman year really eager to be a teacher, and then they go to the after school program and they're like, you know what? I think maybe I need to be an accountant. And there's countless stories of that happening, and I think that is really important, and it adds to the experience of what Bonner is able to provide, because not every student is able to go out and test out their career passions before following it to the end. Many years ago, we had a student, her name's Erica Squires. She was a graduate of fall 2020, who actually started in the program not wanting to be an education major. She comes from a family of educators, but because of how her schedule aligned, she did end up serving the after school program. And what she found was she really loved working with kids. So through that experience, she actually changed her major to become an education major because of her service. And that altered her timeline here at Lindsey, and she stuck that through. And now she is a teacher in Elizabethtown school system. Another student that I think of is Jay Woodall, who came in immediately wanting to be an elementary educator, has such a passion for students. And I've seen that even in the time that I've had her in class, that she is so geared towards the elementary age student and everything that their experience has to offer. And she started serving with the Family Resource Center. And the Family Resource Center, their goal is to bridge barriers that prevent students from getting to school. So sometimes that's things like figuring out housing, or even how their family can get laundry services and everything in between from that, to having school supplies, but also having food at home. So our Family Resource Centers hold a big job in all of our school system. And Jay started serving there with Heather Dudley. And through her time there, she's come to realize that elementary age kids are still her thing, but she cares a lot about making sure that they have what they need to succeed. And so Jay just recently changed her major, and she's now going to be a human services and counseling major in order to address that side of the helping professions and how she can aid still elementary age school kids, but from a different perspective.
And Yayi, there's a great diversity of students who are involved in the Bonner Scholars Program. They come from all parts of campus, don't they?
Yes, they absolutely do. We like to say that Bonners are overachievers, and because of that, they like to do it all. So currently we have students who are involved in student government. They're involved in the Singers program. They are involved in residence life as residence assistants. They're in a sport. They like to have their hands in a lot of different places, and often those things can overlap, but we have a great diverse population of students who are heavily active in their majors, in their clubs, and in their different roles on campus as well.
So who's the ideal student to be a Bonner Scholar?
The ideal student, I think, is a person who just has a big heart for service. Regardless of your background, regardless of your prior experience with community service, we love the students who are committed to leaving a legacy at Lindsay. And that could be regardless of your major as well. I was a business administration major, and we do tend to attract a lot of the education majors, the human services and counseling, the nursing, some of those helping professions. But even me as a business student, who's not typically seen as a helping profession, found a great opportunity for me to explore my interests, my academic major, and my proposed career field within this program. So we really want students who are willing to embrace their community, who want to do good work while they're here. And also, we know that service is reciprocal. So you get to impact your community, but you also have an impact on yourself, and you get great professional development skills, great internship opportunities, you get great networking opportunities, and a lot of personal and professional growth. And so people who can see the value in both leaning into their community and leaving that impact and legacy, and in getting something personally, professionally from that as well. I think that's the students that succeed in Bonner and that find a lot of value in it.
That's Yayi Sonnabend of the Lindsay Wilson Bonner Scholars Program. Yayi is the Bonner Assistant Director. You also heard from Kisha Burton. She's Lindsay Wilson's Director of Civic Engagement, Student Leadership, and the Bonner Scholar Program. To learn more about Lindsay Wilson's Bonner Scholars Program, point your internet browser to lindsay.edu and search for Bonner Scholars. And that's going to do it for this third edition of 2025's View from the Hill. You can tell us what you like or don't like about this podcast by firing off an email to us at news@lindsay.edu. Be sure to encourage your friends and family members to subscribe to the View from the Hill. We're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and we wouldn't mind it if you gave us a nice rating on either or both platforms. Until our next edition, I'm Dwayne Bonifer in the Lindsay Wilson College Office of Public Relations. Thanks so much for listening. So long, everybody, and have a nice day.